Hello, welcome to ZMarie Design Scrappy Wallet Tutorial. These are the supplies you will need for this project. So we're going to make these scrappy wallets. This pattern was gifted to me by my friend Dolores, my quilting friend, but I enlarged the pattern just a little bit. And so the main body of the wallet measures 7 inches long by 5 1/4 inches wide. And this is just approximate, so feel free to change the size. And then your first wallet measures 4 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide. The second one is 3 1/4 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide. And then the smallest measures 2 1/2 inches tall by 5 1/4 inches wide. So you'll have 4 pattern pieces all total. So with your 4 pattern pieces, you're going to cut your main fabric, which is my blue floral, and my lining fabric, which is my orange. And then I'm going to make a marking where my magnetic snap is going to go. So on my main body of the pattern, I measure down 1 1/4 inches. You see where that dot is? I put in the pin so I can know where to mark for my magnetic snap. I turn it on the back and I just make a marking. And that's where one part of my magnetic snap goes. And this one you're going to do on the lining, main body on the lining. For the next one, you're going to take your smallest of your main fabric, your smallest pocket, and you're going to measure down 1 inch. And these are measured in the center. And you're going to make a mark on the back. And this is for the second part of your magnetic snap. So one is on your lining and one is on your main fabric. So this is what you should have so far. So everything is marked and everything is cut out on your main fabric and on your lining. Next, for your magnetic snap, it comes in a 4 pieces. You have your mommy piece and you have your daddy piece. You have a brother and a sister, and they each have clothes. So just some pieces of interfacing. For one of the children, you're going to have, that's your pattern piece, your washer. You're going to make a mark. There's three holes there, but you're going to make a mark on those 2 outer slits. That's where the prongs go. And I always remember by saying mommy, daddy, brother, sister, and each have clothes, so I'll know that I have all the pieces that I need. Next, you're going to make those same markings on your main fabric on the smallest pocket. You're going to line that center piece up with that dot, and you're going to mark those 2 outer slits. That's where the prongs go, remember? And then on the lining of the main body of the wallet, you're going to line up the center. You're going to mark those 2 outer slits again. And then you're going to just cut those little slits open. With the smallest of cuts, I fold over the fabric. I fold it over right on top of those markings, and I make just a tiny little snip. Just a very tiny snip. Don't make it too large. And you're going to do that on all 4. On your lining, main body, on the smallest pocket of your main fabric, and on each of the interfacings that you're using. I'm using upcycled batting. I fold it over and I'm just snipping right on those little markings. So now they are ready to insert. So I'm going to put one of the largest of the prongs. It doesn't matter if it's the mommy or the daddy. So from the right sides, I'm going to insert it so that those prongs are facing the back. I put a piece of interfacing over, and then I put one of the washers. And I do the same thing on the pocket. I insert it from the right side so that my prongs now are coming through the wrong side of the fabric. Put your interfacing on top of those 2 prongs. Everything has the slits in it. And then if you made your slits right there, your washers fit right on top. And then next, to close those washers, they can be a little tough to close by hand. I just use my flat nose pliers. And I just push them closed. Now you can use this exact same technique to insert a magnetic washer in any type of wallet or any type of purse or handbag that you're making. I really like using the magnetic washers for closures. And then just press it down. And your magnetic washers are ready for use. It should look like that. The mommy of the washer has the magnetic part on there, and you see the daddy of the washer just inserts right inside. So the next step is to prepare each of the pockets. So take your two smallest of your pieces and you're going to lay them right sides together, and you're going to sew at the top. See where a magnetic washer is inserted in the smallest? So this is the second piece, right sides together. And then the third pocket, which is the largest, and once again right sides together. You can put your two main bodies of your wallet to the side for now. So we're going to back stitch at the beginning and at the end, and I usually sew 1/4 of an inch, and you do that on each of your wallets. Then after that I fold it over and I give it a really good pressing, and if it's uneven at the bottom or on the sides, just give it a trim, just to make sure that your main and your lining are even. So now we have all of those. We're going to do a top stitching at the top of each of these, and with your washer in, it's going to make it really tight. So I usually do my top stitching with my zipper foot. Just makes it look a lot more professional when you put a top stitching on it. So you see you don't have an awful lot of space there, but so if you use your zipper foot, my machine, I can move the needle as well. So you see now I have my top stitching all done on each of my wallet sizes. So next you're going to take your lining, the one that has the magnetic closure on there. You're going to put your largest of your pockets down first to make sure that you're matching your bottom seam and your side seams. That's why everything is the same size, 5 1/4 inches. Put your second pocket on top of there, and your third and final pocket on top of there, the ones with the magnetic closure. Make sure that they snap closed. But you have one more piece left, and that's your main fabric of the body. Put right sides facing, and you're going to put it on top of everything there. And you pin it in place. We're almost done. These go together really quickly. You can make this cutting it out and everything in about 15 minutes. So there where I'm putting that pin, that's where my top pocket, that's exactly where it ends. I want to make sure that I know where that begins there, and I'm going to put an X there so I'll know where I'm going to stop. I'm going to put an X on that side because I'll know that's where I need to leave my opening in between those two pins. So it's a little thick at the bottom, and I'm sewing again with 1/4 inch or even a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to start at that top there. I'm going to back stitch, go around the curve all the way around, and just past that third pocket there, I'm going to back stitch again, leaving an opening. It's a small opening, but it's going to take a little bit to turn it. So you'll just have to work with it. But everything is all sewn around, back stitching so those stitches don't pop out when you're turning. I left my opening. And the next thing we're going to do is to snip around that curve so that it'll lie flat. But instead of snipping in, I just usually use my pinking shears, and I just trim all the way around that curve. And then I just continue to trim that seam allowance especially where those pockets are, just to get rid of some of the bulk, and I trim on each of the bottom corners as well. So trim all the way around, leaving your opening untrimmed so you can turn it. So I've turned everything inside out, and I'm poking out those corners with my chopstick there. And at the bottom, it's a little bulky there in that corner, but that's okay. Just go ahead and poke out as best you can without poking through your fabric. That's why these wooden chopsticks are really awesome. And so we left that seam allowance for the closure so we can do this. We can fold it in, and we're going to close it when we do our top stitching. Next, give it a really good press. Press it down really, really well, all the way around your wallet. And now you're going to top stitch, and you're going to begin right at that ending, right above your pocket, back stitch, top stitch all the way around, back stitching again at the end, and you are all done. So these are some of the wallets I made with the magnetic closure. I usually use upcycled cottons, upholstery fabrics, just anything. If you're using a really loosely weaved fabric, just make sure that you're using interfacing before you put in your magnetic snaps. But these are some of the ones I use contrasting fabrics. It just looks really neat. They make really good gifts, and they go together really quickly. I usually cut out all of my fabric first and sit at the sewing machine and then just whip them out. So this is the original pattern my friend Dolores gave me, and you see the difference in the size. Still fits my cards, however it is a little small, especially that opening when it's time to turn it out. These I did with buttons, and then these I did with the plastic snaps. And they go on to everything that we've done, the magnetic snaps or the plastic snaps. It goes on the exact same way. So I hope you like the Scrappy Wallet tutorial, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching.